Hi there, I'm Erick Schneider on behalf of CrossTech, and I'm excited to introduce you guys today to Inés from Aquanow. Today, we're going to be walking you through a little bit about what their business is and what their positioning is in the market. Inés, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Eric. I'm very excited to be here at CrossTech. I know Aquanow is not new to CrossTech, but I am. This is my first conference here, and it's been a great day so far.
Well, welcome. That's wonderful. Let's jump right in and understand a little bit more about yourself there. Inés, can you walk us through a little bit about your background and how you arrived at Aquanow?
Of course. I actually have worked in the capital markets for many years. That's how I started. I'm an engineer by background, so I've seen many aspects of the capital markets, including technology, operations, strategy. I've worked at the Royal Bank of Canada for many years, most recently in trading, and also the Toronto Stock Exchange. So I've been exposed to various assets, specifically equities, but always fascinated with innovation. And when crypto came to my plate when I was at the Toronto Stock Exchange, I was very curious about the use cases that could really change the way the world works in terms of payments, transactions, and one of the things that I'm most passionate about is, because I'm Peruvian by background, is I've seen so many cross-border payments being done, specifically LATAM, right? A lot of people in LATAM with families abroad are sending remittance and payments cross-border, and the payments and the cost of those transactions are sometimes like pretty bad, what I would say. So with one of the use cases of crypto, which is what Aquanow is servicing, is actually to help those cross-border payments be more efficient and cheaper, right? So when I came across Aquanow, which is a fintech from Canada, specifically digital assets infrastructure provider and liquidity provider, I was really excited to work on the remittance and the cross-border use case. Now, Aquanow is a B2B company, so we deal with payment companies like the ones that are here today, and we help them to be, like I said, more efficient and transfer money at a much cheaper cost, right? So that's I'm very proud of what Aquanow has been achieving so far in that sense. And again, like I said, very excited to be connected and help more businesses achieve their goals.
And about helping those businesses, I'd love to understand a little bit more about how Aquanow does that. Mm-hmm. You touched on some pieces. I happen to be on the crypto industry, so I'm familiar with it when you're talking about liquidity and all. I'd love to hear a little bit more in layman's terms.
Yep.
How does Aquanow help the cross-border payment space?
So if we think about the traditional way of sending money, right? You have an end user that, especially if you're unbanked. I'm talking about a lot of people in Latin America that are unbanked, and you have family in Canada or the U.S. where you are sending traditional like payments, going to a company or like a booth and sending physical money. It takes some time to arrive because there are some wires that have to happen in the middle, and then eventually arrives to the destination, and the user gets it from another partner company. With digital assets, specifically with stable coins, which are, if you've heard of crypto and you're an expert in crypto, we have the typical coins like you will hear Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are volatile, and I wouldn't use that for cross-border payments. But with stable coins, we see less volatility and a much faster transfer. So what happens is now the new use case or the new way of doing it is you have someone in Canada. Let's talk about Canada because Aquanow is Canadian. You have someone in Canada trying to send money to, let's say, Peru because I'm Peruvian, and you go to one of our partners, you deposit your fiat or your Canadian dollars, Aquanow, we don't work directly with the end user, but with the company. Aquanow is, we do on-ramping, right? So we will receive Canadian dollars, USD, GBP, Euro, and we will transfer that into USDT or USDC, which are two stable coins that are the most widely used for this use case. What we do is actually transfer that to a wallet in another country, which can happen so much faster than a cross-border wire. And we work with partners. If we don't have the specific region cover, we work with partners to transfer that stable coin, USDT, USDC, into USD or the local coin. And that will, as you know, is a much cheaper process, a much faster process, because wallet to wallet is instant, right? So that's kind of in the simpler terms of the workflow, what we help our clients achieve. And we've been having a lot of traction, not only in Latam, but other regions as well, where remittance are big part of the inflow of assets.
That's big. One of the largest questions there that a lot of partners have is, what corridors do you operate? So what can Aquanow offer to partners? Is it a few different corridors in Latin America and across Asia? Is it global? What is your current coverage?
Our current coverage is global. I can probably tell you a shorter list of the countries that we don't cover. What we, and if we can't, so basically we settle, so the settlements are in main for like USD, Canadian dollars, GBP and Euro, like I said, but the clients that we cover are all over the world because we have banking relationships everywhere. So it's, I think that's worked very well for us. We have multiple bank partnerships that allow us to do this transfers and these transactions in a much faster way.
Faster, and how about less expensive?
Of course, less expensive. Of course, less expensive. We've done I have a team that actually have been working on doing some modeling, and definitely we've tried with multiple currencies and various modes of wiring, and for most of the time you can see an efficiency made by using crypto.
So what traction has Aquanow gotten on the partnership space? Are there any use cases that you can share with us there of actual partners using your platform?
Of course, the remittance one, the one that I was telling you, is a huge one, and the one that I'm most excited about. Of course, because it's close to my heart, given the things that I've seen in my country. But it's the remittance use case. We work with partners. Sometimes when we don't have the banking relationship for off-ramping, we at least can do all the on-ramping piece, which is the first part, and then we can work with a partner on the other side. Specific countries, we're talking about some countries in Africa, we're talking about APAC, and they can do the offboarding and get to the end client, the person that really needs the money as fast as possible, as much as possible from what their family is sending them, to get to them in a much faster way. So,
and in that use case, the recipient, for example, is not touching crypto and may not even be familiar that there's a crypto transaction going on. This happens on the back end. Is that correct?
Right. We are a B2B. We work with companies. We're making them more efficient. The end user they'll just receive their fiat, right? If we're talking about, I don't know, Brazilian real, you're talking about I'm sending the Canadian dollars and they receive Brazilian real. If we're talking about, I don't know, Filipino pesos, we're talking about sending Canadian dollars and then the end user receiving their Filipino pesos. So it's I'm so excited about this use case, especially because I think crypto there's so many like dark news about crypto, and when I tell people about this specific use case, which is helping real people, they're like, oh, that's something I didn't think about, and it's definitely a way to really help the workflow of how people move money around the world.
And moving money around the world is actually one of the most common use cases for blockchain technology and leveraging crypto.
Yes.
For. What do you think that separates Aquanow from other blockchains or other companies that offer B2B payments on the back end? What makes you guys different?
So first of all, we're liquidity providers, and we connect to various exchanges. We provide a global order book, so we can get like a really good price. And a few things that make us different. One is our network of banking relationships. Two is that all of our senior management come from traditional banking, traditional capital markets. The risk controls in our company are Canadian standards, right? We don't compete with our clients because we're B2B. We are not there to, eventually get to the client, to their end client. No, we service the business. We're there to support them. We're there to grow with them. So we always say we're not there to compete with them in the region that they're trying to cover. So that the trust, our compliance officer, and our general compliance and KYC techniques we're licensed in Canada. We're licensed in the U.S. So we are, I would say, we work very hard to provide the service like you would work with a traditional capital markets institution.
Excellent. Based on that, what partners would you be looking for, or what's the profile of companies that would be best suited to leverage your platform?
So we're looking for definitely payment companies, people or companies in the remittance business, specifically here, of course. Any businesses looking to be more efficient in their operations and that want to use and trust cryptocurrency to help them achieve that.
So if I were to ask you, what's your vision in 12 months' time? What's going to be different about Aquanow, or what's the growth trajectory for Aquanow? What would you be able to share?
I'd say we work really, really hard to expand our network in LATAM, in different regions. We have a partnership with Turkey as well. We're looking at certain areas of the world that really need our services that haven't been tapped into. So I think the growth is going to be there. We're working on really cool projects as well. I can't share yet, but really cool products that will help with the operational areas and actually the kind of like the accounting, the account management which is on top of already the liquidity that we're providing them. So we're working on really cool projects right now. Really excited for what's coming, and maybe when I see you at CrossTech World, I'll be able to share more.
I look forward to that. And Inés, as you know, I represent CrossTech. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what do you see as the biggest value to you and to Aquanow on attending these CrossTech conferences?
Of course, like coming to CrossTech, like I said, it's the first time, and I've already made so many friends and so many connections, and really seeing old clients, but also meeting new people and following on the regulation and what's happening in LATAM and in the US with, like talking to people that maybe know a little bit more about the regulatory aspect, and just really learning and absorbing and meeting people. And I thank you, CrossTech, because of course, allowing us to make so many connections here.
That's wonderful to hear, Inés. We love having you. Aquanow is always welcome, and thank you for doing this with us.
No, thank you.
Great.